to me, the notion of somehow threatening to get expulsion to the list of penalties is going to be the penalty that's going to make it so that they won't commit this crime is just nuts, though. I mean, even if you were to add a few years in prison, what you end up doing with these laws is having them so that law-abiding good citizens obey them and not the criminals. And rather than making places safe for the victim, you unintentionally make it so that the criminals have less to worry about. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to run.
All right, I've got one more. I've got one more question for you. Coming up 6 o'clock, Brave New Books this evening. People can come down there. There'll sure to be a lot of press as well. Let me ask you this question. When the media comes in and attacks you and says, don't you feel bad now that you were here calling for guns and look what's happened, what is your response going to be to them?
Well, my response is the same human to you, that, it may be unintuitive for some people to have the notion that self-defense can deter criminals from engaging in crime, but just as you can deter criminals with higher arrest rates or longer prison sentences, the fact that a would-be victim can defend themselves can also make it risky for criminals to engage in crime and deter some of them from doing it. And give a particularly large effect when you're talking about multiple victim public shootings, because even if you only have a few percent probability that any one adult may have a concealed handgun with them, if you have 50 people or 100 people or 450 people, like in the Virginia Tech case, who were in the vicinity, the probability at least someone who's unknown to the attacker is going to be able to defend themselves is essentially 100%.
All right, Mr. Lott, in closing, because I know you've got to go and you're on your cell, in closing, we've also seen these victim disarmament zones, the statistics now, that in states that have passed concealed carry, that have had over 20% crime rates that you've so well documented, now the criminals are gravitating towards the university reservations, knowing that there are disarmed people there, and we're seeing muggings, robberies, rapes, murders exploding everywhere. Is that why this big student movement for guns on campus is growing?
Well, I don't know how much, that there's been that much of an explosion of crime on campuses. You do have some movement from criminals from places where it's riskier for them to do it to places where it's not as risky. That's really true. Unfortunately, I really apologize, but I have to leave now.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Professor John Lott. Take care. All right, there he goes. We went into overdrive to cover that with him. We're going to have continuing reports on all of this at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And obviously, he's lined up with a whole passel of interviews. But if you go to PrisonPlanet.com right now, we have amazing coincidence. UT shooting cancels pro-gun speech. And this Paul Joseph Watson article gets into all of this. A shooting at the University of Texas campus that was initially blamed on one lone nut took on a political aspect after it emerged that the incident coincided with a speech by Second Amendment expert John Lott about the right to conceal carry that was due to take place tonight, but has since been canceled. Make sure Watson adds that it's now at Brave New Books. And he just goes through the history of government staging these events. And you notice Lott didn't want to go there, but I tell you, was it a lone nut angry about the pro-Second Amendment event who went and did it? That's breaking news. We need to get that added at the top of Watson's article, that the dean of the law school was already not liking this pro-Second Amendment subject and thought it was dangerous to talk about it. Dangerous to talk about it at the UT Law School. Dangerous to talk about students having guns to protect themselves. Look at how the criminals gravitate towards Chicago and New York with their gun bans. Look at their crime rates, 2, 3, 4, 5 times per year, depending on what year it is, other national crime rates. Look at the facts. And, folks, I'll tell you right now, that's why this radio broadcast, and get ready to go back to retransmission. We'll join the show and rebroadcast. Can we do that in a moment, or you want to wait till break? Okay, about 2 minutes, we're going to break. Or we'll join live transmission from when this was all being broken down this morning live on air and all the other economic news I went over. That's why this radio show is possible, is because you're supporting us. That's why we're here in Austin and could cover this and bring John Lott on and bring on that researcher earlier about the full spectrum dominance, literal beast grid. It is so essential that this radio show not just continue, but that this radio broadcast expand. And I'm asking you now, I'm begging you, to get all of my films, make copies, and continue to give them to everyone you know. Put them on Access Television. Tell your friends and family via email, MySpace, Facebook, how to tune in at Infowars.com, the free podcast, the live streams, the free iPhone app. If you're listening on a local AM or FM, get out there with a sandwich board and tell people, at the red light, tune into this radio station now. We can defeat the globalist when you realize that you are the answer. Look in the mirror, you are the answer. No army can stop an idea whose time has come. We have got to get on this now. And we're trying in this imploding economy with our audience exploding, but the funds staying the same or going down, to go to the next level. And that's why we're having the October 14th InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com Money Bomb. And people are starting to give right now. That's good. We've got a big goal, and it needs to start now, but really culminate and race on that day. InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. We're getting a PrisonPlanet.tv membership. I mean, you know what it's like to have 2, 3, 4 million people visiting you a week and having multimedia, what that cost us? Over $20,000 a month of bandwidth. 20 employees and contractors. The studios, the equipment, all of it. We need your support, ladies and gentlemen. InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. We've got the new DVD if you want to pre-order it so you get it first. The amazing film on chemtrails. What in the world are they spraying? Produced by G. Edward Griffin. We're going to get it first. It's now pre-ordered. You can pre-order it at Infowars.com or by calling 888-253-3139. Because always, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about funding the operation, but the double-edged operation of these films, these books, these materials are our info weapons. So it supports the base operation and then disseminates the info out to everyone. That's the key integration that we're talking about here. And I just want to say the crew today did one of the best jobs they've ever done. First-class radio production, small crew, working, getting the gas, getting it all together, doing the research. First-rate job with Phil and Jaron and Matt and Marley and Matt, and we got 2 Matts, everybody, and Jason Douglas and the crew in the back and the customer service and everybody that brings this operation together. This is historical. We're exposing the world government for real and having an effect to the point that Glenn Beck has to mimic us, but then tell you it's a few professors that run it all. You know, the world government's real, and there's naked body scanners and 500 scanners on the streets, but it's Obama. Obama runs it. No, the Rand Corporation runs it. The Council on Foreign Relations runs it. They want full-spectrum dominance. Our government created the UN to go outside and then take over the U.S. Our government and the British government financed the communist. This is the big truth. This is the massive information. This is what will set us free. Every day I look at my children. Every day I look at them. We're just going to go to break here. I'm going to go to the end here. Every day I tell you this because it's what happens every day. I look at my beautiful, smart, magical, enlightened, full of creativity and the human spirit, and I think about that line from The Road with Viggo Mortensen when Robert Duvall is saying, the father says, my son is a god. And by God, he means beautiful and wonderful and the only thing good to him in life and just so wonderful. And Duvall says, on the road, having a god is dangerous. And you see a window into God's creation when you look at the Milky Way, when you look at the Himalayan mountains, when you look at the ocean, when you see a flower or ants on the ground, you just see it. And when you look into your children, you see the purity of what humans are and should be. And then you look at the Rand Corporation and the Pentagon and their death and their robot swords and their openly wanting to drug us and put microchips in our heads and saying they're going to do it and how they're going to incrementally roll it out where you got to have it to have a job. And you realize how hellish this is. You realize how horrible and unspeakably evil it is. And you say, don't judge a book by its cover. When you look at Hayden, the former head of the CIA, when you look at Marshall at the Pentagon, when you look at these people and you look at Larry Summers, and you look at them, they just seethe dark energy and destruction. They hate God's creation. They want to remake the world in a charnel house of blood, death, and destruction. Beauty to them is ashes and rotten bodies and stench and carrion crows and just dust in the air. Our species and everything we are is under threat. That's why I'm not worried about being killed. I'm not worried about being demonized. I'm not worried about them inventing lies about me and more attacks coming, because I know at the end of the day, I have a heart that loves God and loves goodness, and I'm not perfect. Lord knows I've got a wicked streak a mile wide. We all do. But I can recognize it, and I know I want to be good. I know I love God. I know that there is a spiritual realm. I know that there's mysteries in this universe. Like they say in Othello, you know, there's more in heaven and earth, Othello, than in all your books. Read the Shakespeare, understand it, know it. The globalists know there's another dimension, another reality. And they want to shut your eyes, shut your spirit to all this information. Retransmission starts now, 20 minutes into hour number 4. I go further, but I got IT people I got to talk to, and I'll be on RT Live in T-minus 40 minutes. I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Every day's a blessing. Every day's a gift. Every day's wonderful. I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow live 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget to support the Infowar.
Before you throw